Hello and welcome to the Embracer Games archive. My name is David and today we will meet Natalia Kovalainen, our Chief Archivist. We will get to know you and know some more about your role here at the archive.
Exciting video.
Yeah, so let's go. So, hello Natalia.
Hi.
How is it?
It's good. The sun is shining and it's like summer soon here, or
Yeah.
it is summer. Yeah.
And you are in an archive full of games.
Of course.
So it must be your dream place.
It is. It truly is. It's a dream.
But to start it off, we want to know more about you as your interest in video games.
Yes. And I love video games. I've been playing all of my life. I had the luxury of having a father that worked with computers, so for me it was like a thing that one had, like everyone had their personal computer. For me it was like, of course you have your own setup and you have your own at-home LAN, and you could play with. I could play with my sister, of course, so it was good times. Yeah.
So you've been playing since you were very young?
Yes.
Mostly computer, what I can understand, computer games,
yes.
PC?
Mostly PC, but I've also had some handhelds, and the console that's closest to my heart is the PlayStation.
Yes, because you have prepared some of the games. I know you always have a hard time deciding what your favorite games are, but today you picked two of them, so you get to know you a little bit better with your...
Exactly, and I try to like change it up a bit. So I chose two games here. The Longest Journey, which is here. It's it's an adventure game where you play as Zoe, the main character, that travels in dreams and comes to different like worlds, and it's a very, very cool story, and it's a very long story.
But when you explain that game, you almost explain that game as well, because that's also dreams. And
exactly, and that's why I chose them, because I do have a tendency to like games with dreams in them. So Alundra is a game also about, but here it is a boy, Alundra, that gets into this city, and he doesn't remember everything, but he can travel into people's dreams and fix problems. But there is like a bigger problem, of course. But two great games, and I think games that are, in my opinion, not talked about as much as they should be.
Yeah. Nice. But you work here as our Chief Archivist, and you have work experience. You've been working in archives before. Exactly.
I've worked in archiving for many years, and I have my academic background in archiving. So this is what I know and what I think is important. But to be able to do that with games was something that I never could have dreamt of. It's really something. Yeah.
I can understand.
Beyond my own dreams, my wildest dreams.
Yeah. So we've been building this archive for now. It's around 2.5 years, and you've been on board since the beginning when we started. And can you tell us a little bit about the archive work, because it's quite unique for us to build an archive from the ground, basically.
It's truly been very exciting and a bit daunting, but also very humbling, because we, just as you said here, David, we had to start from zero. But I'm very happy that the acquisitions, as we call them, the objects that we had from before our time, so to say, the things that started these, the games that started this archive, actually were pretty well documented. So we know of their provenance, as they are, as it's so nicely called in archival speech. So we know from which collector or from which person, and we know a bit of the history of each game, so we know where they come from. So that was very good and important for me, and that's something that we try to upkeep here also. Yeah. And that's one of the main reasons that we are doing a lot of the work that we're doing now, to be able to differentiate both between games, but also to be able to tell from which collection they come from. That's very important.
Because as we said in previous videos, we want the legacy of the collectors and previously owners of the games, that their legacy lives on in the archive.
Exactly, and that's a very interesting story also, to be able to actually tell the story of the collector. That's a story that might get lost in history else. I actually think that we've done a lot for just being here for 2.5 years. We've established this like rooms.
Yeah, we didn't even
area.
have the shelves to start with.
So we've actually done that, but also we got an archival system, not like a system, a database that is very good, and we've been able to redo it and make it like fit our needs, because these archival and the museum systems are often made thinking about the more like normal kind of objects. So here games are very unusual in many ways, because we have to think of about many parameters.
Yeah.
We have different mediums, we have different like shells and boxes, we have so many different types of objects in one collection here. So it's a lot there. So it's been a very fun ride, and in that work from the beginning I was very set on that I wanted it to be built on hierarchies and things that we do in archival work, but we actually came to the conclusion very early on that we need to work in iterations, as we call it, and that we needed to start with an iteration first that is very basic, and that just gives us the at least the bare minimum of information that we need about an item. So we have some fields in our database that are that you have to fill in, that you have to input information in, and we have others that are more eligible depending on the situation, that you might need to differentiate between two items that look very like the same but maybe are a bit different.
Yeah.
So we worked on that very, very much, and now we come a great bit of that.
Yeah, we're soon ending iteration 1, hopefully, is it go on as well as it does right now. And you have already started planning for iteration 2?
Yes.
Because first of all, we maybe explain that, the first iteration is basically what game it is, from which collection, and where in the archive is it placed, and for what system. Yeah.
It's a very basic entry. But our next step is that we, to our database system, have the possibility to link everything via QR codes and an app. So all of our shelves here have a little QR code, which is the name then of each and every shelf or every place that we have here in the archive.
Yes, so Sonic Mania Collector's Edition is standing on this location.
Exactly. And soon, but this is hard, each and every object in the archive will also have a little QR code, and I can show you our prototype, because this isn't like the final one, but it is still a prototype, and you can see it's very tiny.
Oh, that's so hard to get focus on it. It's so small. But the object number and the
object number, but in QR code.
Yeah, so we easily could scan it, because we need. That was also a hard thing to decide on, if we should have labels on the objects or not. But we couldn't possibly uphold an archive if we cannot mark the objects. And
especially if we think about our ambitions and how much we will potentially have here, we do need to start from like the start, thinking about how we know what this item, where it comes from, what things that it has been through, because maybe we will send it to an exhibition, or maybe something inside, maybe the paper isn't good, and maybe it goes to a conservator, like that can do some treatments on the paper. So there are so many things that can happen to an item.
So now in iteration 2, we will clean the case and put on the label. Yeah. We will also photograph every object into our database, and also do an inventory of the shelf that we are taking the games from.
Exactly, and that's going to be a very good one, because we've been, of course, very careful when registering all the games, but still we need to make sure that everything is correct. So that's going to be a very good second check of everything. Yeah. And then iteration 3, we're still thinking about it, but I have my will. Yeah. But here, if we go back to the stickers, it's still a hard thing. Even though we've now come to how big it is and what works for us, we still are not 100% sure how, but where to put it. That's like our main issue right now.
Yeah, you mean the label? Sorry.
Exactly, because when it's like this, when it's plastic, it might be easy to put it somewhere where we don't like hide any of the information that's on the game. But when it's paper, it gets a bit harder. Even though we've actually tried the stickers, this is just paper we have. The stickers are removable and they are kind of easy to remove, and they don't leave that much of a mark, and they are of archival grade. But still, where do you put the sticker, and where is it like consequently put? And I myself am always very like I have opinions on both sides, so I'm both for and against it. But because our games are mostly put like this on the shelves, I would really like for the sticker to be like that you could see it from the side somewhere.
When you search for a specific game, you can easily spot it in the shelf.
Exactly, because if we have 10 games that are the longest journey, but one is in German, one is in Spanish, one is in English, then maybe just looking at the number would be like the easiest way to find it.
Yeah.
But maybe it should be like on the inside here, or like on the back side, so to say. But I don't think it should be on the inside, because opening up these boxes isn't good just to check if it's the correct number. So I believe it should be on the outside of the box. But yeah, that's our next...
An interesting challenge.
Yes, it is. It truly is.
Yes. And I also know you do a lot of networking with other archives and other similar institutions like us. How's the work going with that?
It's going well, I think. I think we've established us more and more as an organization that is driven, and that we really want to like work and network, but also to be able to share what we have here. So I think hopefully we're doing good out there, and spreading not only the word about our work, but the work that we all are doing together, because I think that's a very important message, that preservation work isn't done by only one group. Like, we can't do everything, we will do this. And hopefully we will do this very well, but others can do other parts, and maybe others do similar things to us, but it's good because then we can share knowledge, we can grow, and we can get better, and we can in that way save and make accessible more of this part of history.
Our ethos, Natalia, preservation through use, comes from you.
Yes,
you founded it.
Yes.
Can you describe what do we mean with preservation through use?
Yes, for us, preservation through use actually means many things, but I think it's a good little sentence that explains them, because we want to be able to actually use the items here to preserve its history, to be able to tell the story of games. But we also think that by preserving and using by using the items to preserve them, we also preserve the story of them, and how you actually use them, because that's a thing that might get lost in history. And it's good that we remember how you start a game for the C64, or how it is, like how you put in a cartridge into your NES, or there are many things, but still. And we have many very obscure things in the archive, like the imagination machine, I think it's called. So I think we can be a very important and good part of both telling the story of games, but also maybe of others preserving games through us, because so much can be done. I would love, and I tell this to many people, for someone to do playthroughs whilst actually playing on the original hardware, because I think that's a type of preservation that's missing, because I love playthroughs. I look at many playthroughs, but I'm missing that like human interaction, to see like how close did you have to sit to the TV or to the monitor. And
you mean basically seeing the person who is playing in front of the TV or monitor. That's something someone out there should do. So I think that we can be a good resource, and like a place also that we like, a meeting ground, like a place where you can actually share and talk and reminisce about this important part of history. Nice to meet you, Natalia, and nice to get to know more about your work here. And if you're watching this video and have some questions that you want to ask, just leave a comment down below and Natalia will answer it.
Yes.
Yeah, so good luck with the work, Natalia. We will see you more in upcoming videos. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.